everyone. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Manu, for this introduction. I will start sharing my screen, see if it works. Up. Is that okay? Well, thank you very much. I'm very happy to be here. Very happy to see that there is a lot of people with a very different background willing to talk about this issue of sea level rise and adaptation to climate change. So I am working for the Ocean and Climate Platform, and the Ocean Vision is one of our partners on this cities project. And I am organizing during the Ocean Vision Summit 21, so in May, coming very soon, a session on equitable solutions to sea level rise in Europe and in Africa. So this is in this framework that we are working together with Manu and other of Ocean Visions. So briefly, I will introduce you to the Ocean and Climate Platform that was created just before the COP21. So you know that the COP21 was one major meeting in Paris 2015. And at this occasion, we were negotiating the ocean, the climate and our future for the climate, but the ocean was not really taken into consideration. So the Ocean and Climate Platform was really created to push the ocean into the climate negotiation, to be sure that it is well taken into consideration. So we are a coalition of different actors with different backgrounds as we are here today. And we are composed by different NGOs like Surfrider, IUCN, NRDC, Ocean Conservancy. We also have in our members different research institutes like the Scripps in San Diego, Plymouth Laboratory, and other laboratory in France and in different regions of the world. We also work with territorial collectivities that are, of course, very concerned by all the climate changes, and also with startups and with the private sector. And I think we are, like Ocean Vision, trying to have this very complex approach of the climate change, and we know how it is difficult to implement solutions without this global consultation. So we are advocating because it was created just before the COP21. So we are still doing this job of trying to produce recommendations for policymakers, but we are also trying to translate the very difficult language and the difficult conclusion and finding of research institutes to the policymakers and to the great public. So we are doing this this job of vulgarization of the knowledge and of the information. And I think that's one of the specificity of this Ocean Climate Platform is that we are basing all our production on a scientific expertise. So concretely, we are producing recommendation at a different scale. Here is on the left one example of a document addressed to at the attention of states. On the right, you have one with very more local recommendation. And so this, we want to be present in all the government's mechanism to for the governance of the ocean and of the climate. But we decided 1 year ago to focus on one specific subject, that is the sea level rise. And here are some very classic figures from the last reports on the ocean and cryosphere from the IPCC. By the end of this century, the sea could rise by much than 1.1 meters. We will have more extreme events. So it's, I think, things that you already know here. Maybe I put the attention on the third paragraph, which is that the population today, and especially in US, is located on the coast. So I think there is really a very important issue to understand how the coast and especially the cities will adapt to climate change. And this is why in this project we focus on the cities. With this graphic, we really want to emphasize that a coastal city is gathering a lot of different vulnerabilities, a lot of threats. So is extremely vulnerable to sea level rise. We divided it in different wide family of impacts. You can see that there is, of course, human impacts. People are directly impacted by sea level rise, and of course, you know it's from in USA because you already experienced it in a lot of different cities. There are also impacts on the biodiversity, impacts on the global economy of the cities, and this is why it is we focused on these parts of the territories. What we want to do is, and this is why I took the time to present you what is the Ocean Climate Platform, because in this project we have the same philosophy. We want to promote all the solutions that are existing, all the experiences that have been deployed with different actors, so people with different backgrounds, as we are here today. And we also want to base it on a multidisciplinary scientific expertise. And finally, our goal is to produce recommendations on how a city can adapt to sea level rise. Of course, we are talking here about the most sustainable solutions because it's, of course, our philosophy to take into consideration all the environmental and social and economic issues. It's an international project because I'm based in Paris, but we have partners in different regions of the world. So we start identifying what are the solutions in Europe, on the west coast of USA. We work with the city of Santa Cruz, with the city of Imperial Beach. We also work with Ocean Conservancy, Ocean Vision, of course, and we have different partners in the different counties. In the county of Humboldt, for example, more in the north. We also work on the west coast of Africa and the north of Africa, where the issues are absolutely different from US and from Europe, and also in the south of the Pacific. So we really want to have a wide approach of what are the solutions deployed and implemented in the world. This is the chronology of the project. We are today trying to identify what are all those solutions, and in a second time, we want to organize workshops with different actors, and this is why this is, I think, the interesting discussion that we can have today. It will be on how can we work with different actors, like with the private sector, with the territorial agencies, with the scientists, of course, but also with the private sector, to identify what are the good practices, the best practices, the really key factors of success for the implementation of concrete solutions. So I will end soon, but today, what are the main solutions? I think you know it, and this is how the last report of the IPCC presented. We have technical solutions to respond to sea level rise. We can advance on the sea in different regions of the world, like in Japan or in Monaco, for example. We can protect. This is the worldwide spread response. We can also retreat, and especially in the west coast of US, you have projects of managed retreats, which is very difficult to concretely implement. We can accommodate, and we can also use the benefits of the nature. And this is what we call ecosystem-based adaptation. I'm sure you know a lot about that, but using the benefits of the nature to protect and we know that it works pretty well in a lot of different regions. But I think that what we cannot see here on this very simple representation of the solutions is that they are today a very huge difficulty to implement the solutions, and we have a lot of solutions, but they have sometimes been identified for a long time. And today, our aim is really to understand what are the obstacles to implement it. And of course, we will need more science, we will need more knowledge to understand how the climate is functioning and how sea level rise will impact the cities. But we also have to understand how to better implement a solution to tackle sea level rise. And each territories have to take into consideration the social issues, the cultural aspects of a solution, the relation to the coast, the relation to the sea, to better define a solution. So we started with this job to identify what are the solutions, technical solutions, what are, for example, the capacity building activities that have been implemented, what today is an adaptation plan, how a city can define it, which cities have already started working on it, what are the research programs. So we are gathering a lot of this data. But I think that what I want to discuss with you, and I will ask you two very wide question, is really to focus on US and to understand really the main issues, the main cultural specificities, the structuring question that must be integrated into our reflection to really understand how we can adapt in USA, and what are the key factors to take into consideration, what are the unavoidables. And maybe also, if we have time, we can also discuss about the key players to address, the main actors, to who they are and at which scale do we have to work to really act and make a change. And I'm sure that it's absolutely not the same responses that we will have here today than I can have when I'm talking with people from Africa and from the Pacific. And this is really the richness of the project and the discussion we can have. So that's it for the moment. I stop sharing this presentation.
Yes.